Well, there are lots of causes out there, everybody. Namely, number one, look out for your fellow human being. Be kind. I'm going to just start right out of the gate, just let you know. It's important to be kind, to try to imagine what it's like to be someone else. Be in someone else's shoes. It always helps with everything. With life itself. It can help you understand that Black Lives Matter. It's just one thing. It's a very difficult time we're living in right now. It can also help you wear a mask to help protect your fellow human being, because that's important right now. We're living in a pandemic. We're living in tremendous social unrest. We've never realized America's dream. Make America great again. Let's make America great now. It's never been that great. It's got some great ideas. Gotta hand it to America, having the best ideas. We're the idea country. We're not the executioners of the idea. A lot of people could, there are other countries that are doing it way better than us. And we friggin' almost invented the idea of democracy. Come on, guys. We can do this. Be kind to one another. Today we're talking about movies like we do every day at noon, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Spacebook, MySpace, all of the spaces, all of the places. Specifically, we're talking about musician biography, filmic pictures, movies that are about actually existing musicians that were iconic and famous, and ones that we would like to see. Let's make our dream come true. Who would you want to see play John Lennon in a movie? There hasn't been a John Lennon biopic, I don't think. Has there? I think it's time we do that. The Beatles are my favorite band of all bands in the history of bands, and there's a reason for that. They're the first group that was enormously popular because of their songwriting ability that they did themselves. So many bands at the time in the 50s and 60s were doing covers or doing... There was a group of songwriters, and then there were performers, and then they would songwriters would write the songs, and the performers would sing them, or the singers would do covers of other people's songs, and then this folk movement happened, and folk artists would write their own songs and go perform them in coffee houses. I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Llewyn Davis by the Coen brothers, but outer space. Outer space. Uh-oh. Outer space. That's my favorite thing. Guys, I can do that all day long. If you don't know what I'm doing an Adam Driver impression in the movie Inside Llewyn Davis because, it's very funny. There's a scene in that movie where Justin Timberlake and Oscar Isaac are writing a song and performing a song and recording a song for their $50. Historically, musicians have been screwed. We don't get that much money. And that's why I invite you to support this channel on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Aristotle Full Throttle, and you can help the show going every day. Help your fellow musician. Got some random demos going on in the background so I don't get demonetized. So some of my favorite ones are What's Love Got to Do With It? What's love got to do with it? I don't know. Yeah, we're still waiting for people to show up. It's cool. It's cool. We're having a good time, though. This show goes on whether or not there's an audience. That's the fun part about it. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. This show goes on... Here's a little inside scoop. This show goes on 24/7, except this is the 1 hour that you get to watch it. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, I invite you to join the chat and jump in and say whatever you like. Mention a movie that you saw recently that featured a musician that was represented by an actor in a film, or maybe misrepresented by an actor in a film. I think that they could have done a better job. The whole thing with, recently they did a Jimi Hendrix biopic, and Andre 3000 of Outkast played Jimi Hendrix, because that seems like the perfect casting. If you look at him and you look at What's Facebook? Facebook has shown me all these different... I'm trying to just go on to Facebook and do things. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Veronica on Facebook. Hey, everybody on Facebook. Facebook has changed its layout just in time for me to get confused by it. All right. Who else is watching on Facebook? Now I can sort of simultaneously watch on all of the platforms. I'm going to care that comment, Veronica. I will care that comment. Does anybody know how to use the care function on Facebook? Does anybody know how to use the care function on Facebook? I have no idea. I barely care about it. You know, it's my friend Iron Mike Hamilton's birthday today. I learned that from the Facebook. July 1st, Canada Day. The day that Canada became free, just like America. Canada Day, all day, every day. That's what the Canadians say. You know, I lived in Canada for 3 months. It was actually in Toronto. It was one of the coolest places I've ever lived. Very diverse city, very cool people. That was before Rob Ford decided to like go on a cocaine binge and do all that crazy stuff and then die. He was the mayor of Toronto for a while. You guys remember that? I do. I certainly do. So we'll just hang out here. I'll take a nap. I'll take a little cat nap. I'll crawl up on the couch and take a little cat nap until we got some friends showing up here today. Dr. Anthony Fauci has something to say. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Anthony Fauci. I am, you guys are eating Chinese food? That's wonderful. While you're eating Chinese food, remember to wear a mask while you're eating Chinese food. I don't know if you can do that. If you wear a, if you're wearing a mask, if you could maybe throw the egg roll on this, push the egg roll through the side of the mask right over here. If you could do that, that would be wonderful. Guys, we're in with some serious business going on out there in the world right now. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that we could go up to 100,000 positive cases tested a day. Hey guys, what's up? You caught me right now when I was just going on starting my rant about the coronavirus. Eva, Kelsey, stroke here. It's okay, the first 8 minutes don't really matter much anyway. Welcome everybody, we're talking about biopic movies. Which actors would you like to see in a biopic? There's a movie coming out with Jennifer Hudson. Was a genius, an incredible, talented musician. She just died recently. Rest in peace. Rest in paradise, Aretha. I was wondering about the name Aretha. I picture Aretha around, Aretha on a door, a urethra. There's all kinds of things you can think of when you think of Aretha. But the thing you should think about is her amazing, stunning power and her vocals. Her command. She was very famous at a very young age. Motown singer. She died of the pancreatic cancer. It's a problem. Pancreatitis is actually benign. You can survive that. Pancreatic cancer she had. It was very sad. She died. But she left us with a legacy of incredible music. And also a weird cameo in the Blues Brothers movies. She was good in that. Hey, Colleen. We're just rocking out here talking about musician biopic films. Buddy Holly, famously played by Gary Busey. Remember that? Gary Busey. Gary Busey's always got an acronym for everything. Because Gary Busey is BAD. B-A-D. That stands for Big Angry Dummy. That's me. I'm Gary Busey. Busey. B-U-S-E-Y. That stands for Because Under Skies, Everyone Yes. I'm Gary Busey. Yo. Gary Busey played Buddy Holly. And if you take the name Buddy Holly and take the name Holly, what do? That's Holly during Christmas time. There's Holly. And what do we do with Holly? We turn it into a wreath. And do you guys remember Aretha? Everything's connected. I'm Gary Busey. I'm out of my mind. I'm completely crazy. You guys remember Val Kilmer played The Doors? He played Jim Morrison from The Doors. Cool thing about that is he sang all his parts. He sang all his parts in that. It was really cool. I think he really became Jim Morrison for that. To be fair, Jim Morrison wasn't much of a singer. He wasn't bad, but everything he sang was just like kind of a man voice. I'm a man. Come on, baby, light my fire. Just kind of a man voice, a big old man voice. The reason why I say this is because Jim Morrison was definitely a poet. He was one of the greatest poets in rock and roll history. In fact, he was reciting poetry on the beach when he came across Raymond Zarek, the keyboardist from The Doors, and it's a very famous story. It's depicted in the movie. However, in the movie, that's funny, they're hanging out at Venice Beach, and there is a guy on roller skates playing the guitar, and that guy is still there. You remember that? His name is Harry Perry, and he plays the electric guitar while he's on roller skates. Now he does like inline skates, but like on the sides, I guess they're better for your knees or something. This dude is still there in Santa Monica and on Venice Beach, going up and down the beach with his, he's got like a head wrap on, and he plays the electric guitar. Listen, guys, between me and you, he's not that good of a guitar player. He just kind of goes up and down he plays minor scales. He plays I would say he's playing like Aeolian scales all day on the guitar. It's not that impressive if you're a guitar player, but it's, you know, it's kind of neat. It's novel, dude running around, but except you can't take a picture of Harry Perry anymore because he has this little black piece of duvetine, like a little black cloth that he has on on the brim of his. This guy's made up. Google him, you'll see. He's got a long beard, he's got a head wrap, and then like he's got a brim coming out, a long brim, because he's in the sun all day, so he doesn't want to look any more haggard than he does after being in the sun for 20 years or 30 years. But that's a bit of an anachronism to have Harry Perry in 1960 whatever when on Venice Beach, but it seems like it's not that out of place because Harry Perry was doing that since like I guess the late 80s, 90s, 2000s, and he's still kind of there. You'll still see him, I think, unless he died. But he has like a piece of black cloth now that as soon as you pull up your phone to take a picture of him, he throws the black cloth down so you can't see his face. So there's like 1,000 pictures of Harry Perry on a roller skates holding a guitar with like black cloth over his face, so you can't verify whether or not it was him. He doesn't want you using his image. I don't blame him. And remember, everybody, Harry Perry stands for Harry. Harry. High against ridiculous rations. Yes. That's what Harry stands for. Harry Perry. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Perry. Chuck Berry. Who should play Chuck Berry? Oh, that's a good one. Most deaf should play Chuck Berry. Period. That's the answer you got there. Thank you for the question, Colleen. Help run. Get most deaf. He'll play Chuck Berry. Period. We're done. Let's see. Who else? Clint Eastwood. Who did he play? He played Play Misty for Me. David Bowie should play David Bowie, I think. They should just do that, right? David Bowie has played Andy Warhol in a movie, which was pretty cool. That's a movie called Basquiat from the 90s about the artist Basquiat, who did like children's drawings. They're pretty good. I don't know. It's an aesthetic for sure. He sang at me once on my 16th birthday, skate, dance, skate, 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 dance. And I think it was written for me. I think it was probably the song he sings to everyone. Ever, you know, the skate dance song has a long history and deeply rooted history in Celtic and African sounds. Also, Aboriginals didgeridoo music, folk. The skate dance song I'm talking about is this is when they used to drive around on the didgeridoo. They used to surf around singing skate, skate, dance. This is a very old song. It was on Easter Island. They built those statues while singing that song. It's a very old song. is what I'm saying. Jerry Lee Lewis. That guy's still alive, isn't he? I think he married his... Oh, I think he just died. Is Jerry Lee Lewis dead? No, he's still alive. He's 84. Jerry Lee Lewis. He married his niece. Or so. Let me see Jerry. I'm always intrigued by the spouses. I got some music going on in the background. All music is original on this program. Thank you. To answer your last question from yesterday, I don't think they got to touch his hair. Maybe eventually, because I am a restless person, but I would like to... Yeah, are you talking about my hair? Or whose hair? Whose goes there? Whose hair goes there? I'm always interested in people's number of spouses, not the spouses. Everyone can do whatever the heck they want. But people constantly trying to argue the sanctity of marriage, who get married 7 times. I go, wait a minute. Hang on a second there. People who are like, I'm a true Christian. I believe one man should be with one woman, and that's my thing. I believe that one man should be married 7 times. I think that's kind of... I think they're not able to put 2 ideas together and hold on to them as... Or at least be... consistent or congruent with their thoughts. Oh, my hair? I think I wore a hat most of the time on set. I might have worn my hair out a couple times, but I was very cognizant of how distracting my hair might be. So, of course you could touch my hair, but at the same time, I probably tucked it up under my hat because I just did not want it to be an issue. Because I get it. If my hair's out, people are going to be like, can I touch your hair? And I don't want to be spending half my day at work having people ask me if they want to touch my hair. I'll just put it away in the hat and then just, it's a non-issue. It's no factor. No factor.
This looks like good, strong hair. Doesn't it? I'd sit there and put it under my hat so no one could touch it.
I realize I can't do the rock biter's voice if I'm like, my head is in a certain position.
I have to do it like this.
I have to sit like the rock biter and have
limestone
in my hands. Veronica, I remember when you were like 3 and you had to watch The Neverending Story every day. And that's how I watched The Neverending Story every day.
These look like good, strong hands.
It's so sad.
I am a rock biter.
So much fun. The physical representation of the tangible could be.
These look like big, strong, soft curls, don't they?
Come, everybody, you could just lay on top of my head. Little Richard. Who would play Little Richard? That's a question. Would you guys... Because Little Richard's biopic got to come out by next year at this point. Rest in paradise, Little Richard. The architect of rock and roll, self-described architect of rock and roll. If Chuck Berry was the king of rock and roll, he was the king of rock and roll. We need to change history, how it was written, because they keep saying how that Elvis was the king of rock and roll. No, he was not the king of rock and roll. He was a rock star, for sure. He makes up probably part of what the image of a rock star is. But Chuck Berry was the original king of rock and roll. I understand the appeal of Elvis. I think Elvis was pretty good, actually. Good musician. He became a better musician as he got older. When he was dancing around in that jailhouse rock scene and he had a guitar hanging on him, strapped to his body, at Elvis's age at that time, he could not play guitar. So many people, so he would just dance and then do the hip thing, but with a guitar. Notice he doesn't touch or play the guitar. But 10 years later, he was playing, there's that very famous Vegas show that Elvis is playing with like the gold suit on, and he's actually playing guitar. And Elvis taught himself to play guitar, taught himself to play bass. He was pretty good. Why we gotta get Chadwick for everything though? I hear you, Chadwick, but Chadwick already played a relaxed curl artist. He already played James Brown. Why we gotta get? I feel you, Khalid. Chadwick though, listen. I like Chadwick Boseman. Don't get me wrong, but why we gotta put Chadwick Boseman in everything? Why can't we find 10 other Chapman's chapsticks? Chapman sticks. Why can't we find another Chadwick Boseman out there? This is my problem. I feel like there's just a go-to for when you think of a black guy. When not you particularly, but when people think, oh, black artist, obviously it's going to be played by Chadwick Boseman because he's the black guy. You feel me on that? I feel like that's the thing. It's like, why can't we get another unknown and boost them to stardom to a high level? Like, the whole point of this show is to hold more than one idea in everyone's head. We can hold more than one. I know it. I feel it in my curls. I feel it in my curls that we can hold more than one idea in our head as a society. We can hold more than one Chapstick Boseman. As soon as I learn his name, but Chadman is he's overutilized, okay? He's tired. He's got to be Black Panther. He's got some work to do. He's got like 7 years of being Black Panther, and we're going to enjoy that. Everybody gets to be a superhero for 7 years is what I'm saying. Except if you're Iron Man. You get to be Iron Man for 12. That's pretty cool. The dude who played Little Richard and Get On Up was amazing. Getting back for the Little Richard biopic. That's a good idea. I like that. I feel like one of the best ensembles. That was Angie's idea. Angie's idea. I'm going to cut it to Angie because you suggested that. I feel like the best ensemble for music biopics was Cadillac Records, where everyone sang covers. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah. You know, Angie, no, that's not far off from the idea that the guy that played Charles Manson in the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also played Charles Manson on the series Mindhunter. And he was incredible in that role. It was so good to watch that. It was, if you guys get to see season 2 of Mindhunter, when they show that part of the dude playing Charles Manson, it is just so enthralling, deeply enthralling and cool. But I don't think they're going to make no season 3. Ain't going to be no season 3. Who should play Ray Charles, everybody? I'm just kidding. Jamie Foxx already won an Oscar for playing Ray Charles. Very cool. Interestingly enough, Jamie Foxx sings in a different register than Ray Charles, but was still able to mimic so much about Ray Charles and convey what was going on in Ray Charles' head. And it's such a phenomenal part that Jamie Foxx was able to do. It's like, think of the work that he had to do to play Ray Charles. An actor's tool is their eyes. Like, you could tell what someone's thinking through their eyes, and half of that movie he's wearing sunglasses and you can't see his eyes. And obviously Ray Charles was blind, wore sunglasses all the time. It's part of his look. But Jamie Foxx earned that Oscar because he had to act without using his eyes that much in that movie. Incredible. Just all very physical and vocal performance. Let me catch up. Let's see. Not looking forward to Baz Luhrmann's bloated production. Sterling. Baz Luhrmann. Baz Luhrmann's doing something? I don't know. Tell me what Baz Luhrmann's up to, because I feel like that you're talking in code. I need to know. Jamie Foxx has what we call industry talent. Yeah, Angie says Jamie Foxx has what we call in the industry talent. Turns out he's a talented feller. The guy's been around for like ever and probably will be around forever. He's going to be Mike Tyson. He's playing Mike Tyson. He's already physically getting his body together to play Mike Tyson. And the dude is already like way older than Mike Tyson ever was when Mike Tyson was fighting. So that's going to be interesting to see. How old is Jamie Foxx? I don't even know. But, because a lot of prize fighters are in their 20s and 30s. They're not much into their 40s and 50s. So Jamie Foxx is quite good. You guys remember Jamie Foxx where he played Wanda? Very offensive type of character, but still hilarious. I don't know. It was funny at the time, and I will remember it fondly. However, if I watch it again right now, I will cringe and throw up into my pants. You guys remember Fox stand for Jamie Foxx has 2 X's in his last name. Why does he have 2 X's? Because Fox stands for forget other, I don't know, X words, xylophone, X-rays. Why does X gets kind of the short end of the stick in the alphabet, doesn't it? X is a fun letter. It looks cool. It's just cool. It's symmetrical in every way. X is just a fun letter. You just want to use X, but you can't start a word with X. Because guess what? Xylophone, come on, X. You just borrowing from Z. You just copping Z's vibe on xylophone, X. You got no business being there, X. You can't start. Xavier? Pfft. X, come on, get your own act. X copping Z's vibe. You know what I'm talking about? I hope so. Oh, the guy who's going to play Elvis. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Baz Luhrmann is playing Elvis. Yes, I just remembered it. Thank you. I remembered at the same time I looked at the screen and saw you guys. Yeah, Baz Luhrmann is doing the Elvis pick. The dude looks just like Elvis, though. He looks cool. And look, I have a semi-affection for Baz Luhrmann's overbloated things. Romeo and Juliet. I did not like... I mean, listen, I don't love it. Moulin Rouge, the Red Windmill. I don't really like the Red Windmill. It's okay. Jamie Foxx, 53. He's gonna have to turn that to 35 if he wants to play. No, he can do it. He can do it. He's Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx gonna be 700 years old playing the 18-year-old Mike Tyson, and we gonna believe it because he's Jamie Foxx. There's something about him. He already played Mike Tyson back in the day when he was. Didn't he like make fun of Mike Tyson all the time on In Living Color? Yeah, get it together, X. Come on, X. X gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you like Z, maybe. X gonna put Z in and put Z and make Z do all the work. Yeah, X is a fun one. X could listen. X isn't even X. It's E. X is just ECKS. You could spell X using all the other letters. This show is we need to make the alphabet way more efficient, and we need to make words much longer. This is what I propose to you, everybody. Every time you see an X, put an ECKS. Or just EKS, X. I think that's good enough, right? You feel me on that? Yes? No? No, Baz Luhrmann, wait. Titus Andronicus is a fair kid, but it could work to interpret the shit, the madness, and the things. But Elvis? Yeah, Elvis. He gonna play Elvis. I call him Buzz Luhrmann. Like Buzz Lightyear. Fats Domino. Oh, that's a good one. How about that Fats Domino? Who gonna play Fats Domino? I still haven't seen the movie that they did on Biggie. I hear it's good though. The guy who played Biggie looked pretty accurate. Why do we do that? Why do we look at the characters and we just like, that dude looks like him, he should play him? Because sometimes they don't look like them that much, and then they do play them, and then we totally buy it. I liked, for instance, I think there are a few people who do that. However, I don't think Bohemian Rhapsody was that great of a movie. I thought it was good. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And every time someone said, "Did you see Bohemian Rhapsody?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "What'd you think?" And I said, "Well, if you like the music of Queen, you will like the movie because it's a bunch of Queen music in a row and sort of like a big, long tribute movie to the band instead of more of this revealing, deep-rooted biopic. It's more of like all of the headlines of Queen and all of the albums of Queen put in order. There's no true insight into them as individuals on a level that we could relate to them. They're rock gods. Everybody in Queen was an incredible musician, singer, and player and songwriter. Each one of the band members has written a hit for the band. So when you think of bands like the Beatles, think of bands like Queen, because Queen is also one of those tops. And I will say, for my money, and I will state it, Fred Mercury is the greatest rock and roll vocalist and performer who ever lived. He's the greatest rock and roll vocalist who ever lived. Because if you think about how he turned opera into rock and roll in a very true sense, you don't get any better than Freddie Mercury. Maybe Queensryche. Oh, you're kidding. English is so hard. Yeah. I think this is what Shy says on YouTube. I think the newer biopics are like, let's see. I get lost in the weeds with some of these comments. Y'all on Facebook, I appreciate your comments too. You could jump in and I could read them now. I'm trying to catch up. I think they are a little bit delayed on there. But Shai says, I think the newer biopics are like the Broadway musical would be. Yeah, you know what? You're totally right. The way that they it's almost like a proposal. It's almost like a pitch concept or concept pitch for how the musical will be on Broadway. Like Rocket Man, for instance. I started watching Rocket Man, and it's surreal, but it's surreal on purpose in a way that it's like, this is how Elton John remembers his life. It's all kind of smushed together, and it's a retelling of him explaining his life in rehab, interestingly enough. I thought there was a little bit of miscasting in that movie, though. I do not feel, yeah. I agree with you, agreeing with me, Angie. I saw Eva says, I saw the Queen movie on a hot bus from Tulum to Merida, and it was dubbed in Spanish. Sorry, I have to like move the letters up and down because they get lost in the background here. The acting was good. Yeah, the performance was good. All of the casting in Queen was spot on. Everybody looked like the person they were. The bass player, the actor who played the bass player in the Queen movie, get this, he's the little boy in Jurassic Park. Dude is still acting, and you'd never know. And he gets really convincing English accent he had in that movie.
These look like big, soft curls, don't they?
Remember, everybody, Queen stands for Qbert under every entry. Next. This is Gary Busey. Gary Busey has an acronym for everything. I'm an anachronistic acronym. What's an anachronistic acronym? IBM? That's a good one. Ozzy Osbourne, guys. Who's going to play Ozzy Osbourne? Who can do that? I think the dude is kind of at the end of his career. I love Ozzy Osbourne. He is the dark prince of rock and roll. I tend to be biased toward all of the rock and roll gods. It turns out. Chuck Berry to Ozzy Osbourne to Buddy Holly to Little Richard. Jason Momoa wants to play. Jason Momoa could play Ozzy. A big Ozzy. That's hilarious. Jason Momoa, listen, I like Jason Momoa just as much as the next Aquaman. I don't mind Jason Momoa. However, the acting part, he's at the toppest level of Hollywood. People think Jason Momoa. We know who he is. We like him. He's like a gigantic, ripped Keanu Reeves vibe. However, Jason Momoa, the acting part, come on now. I was watching some Aquaman stuff. I was watching Justice League. I don't want to rag on someone's craft or their art or their skill, but I just don't think that Jason Momoa is as good as or maybe he's just not showing us how good he is yet. Maybe he's just growing. He's a growing actor. He's been in it for only 20 years now. Christian Bale should be Ozzy. Christian Bale could be anybody. Christian Bale should play Chuck Berry. Christian Bale's that good. I don't think that would go down well. Christian Bale getting heavily tanned for his next role. Losing lots of weight.
Christian Bale. Everything he says. Christian Bale, I'm going to be Chuck Berry. In the next, it's going to be fantastic. Chuck Berry. I've been chucking berries all day just to get into character.
You know what's funny about Christian Bale is that he's got that like Cockney accent. He's like Cockney. He's very, you know, he's from the UK. That's where he's from. Okay, listen, I'm just making fun of where he's from, not him, and I'm also making fun of him. But the thing is, whenever he was on the red carpet for Batman, he spoke with an American accent. Did you notice that? I noticed that. They were asking him questions that, you know, you expect Christian Bale to talk like this. I'm from. Hey, Governor, would you like some brown bread? How about it? Would you like some pudding pie? You can't have any meat if you don't have any. You can't have any pudding. Anyway, if you don't eat some meat, I'm Christian Bale. He was. They would ask him about the role in The Dark Knight. And they're like, "Well, your role is Bruce Wayne," and he would just answer, I really like working with Christopher Nolan and his brother. You're like, wait a minute, Christian Bale, are you doing some method acting BS with us right now? Are you pretending just not to be the like says, hey, Governor, how about it? I was in Newsies.
Remember Empire of the Sun?
Yeah, we all remember you, Christian Bale. Why are you speaking like you're not Christian Bale right now? Did you guys notice that? Jason Momoa is the hottest mermaid I've ever seen sit on his Aquaman fishtail on my face. That is sweet. That's a sweet sentiment, Eva. Angie says, I think the only person in the world would have absolutely hated him as Batman. Wait a minute. Stop the presses. Angie, you love DC Comics. You love the DCEU. What you don't like Christian Bale? You call that a Christian Bale fail, would you say? That is interesting that he chooses to lose his accent sometimes.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Thank you.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
That's Christian Bale. He's not wearing hockey pads. If I ever meet him, I'll ask him. I'll verify that for you guys. Like, Christian Bale, nice to meet you. What don't you get? Oh, good for you. If he says he's not wearing hockey pads, I'll say that. Oh, good for you. It'll be hilarious. For me. And then I'll get ejected from the set. It'll be wonderful. What did Eva say up here? I missed it. The Queen movie is a hot bus. Oh, yeah. I think Hank Williams, remember Hank Williams who played Hank Williams? Loki. Loki played Hank Williams. That was a good choice, I think. Why is it that always the secret English people and the secret Australians and the secret Canadians get to play American superstars? Answer me that, Internet. I would like to know. They always get to do that. I think it's because we don't see them on our TV, and they're making their bones on international TV. Americans are famously only ever watching American television. Yet the rest of the world also only ever watches American scene, just appear seemingly out of nowhere. Who would play Paul McCartney? Janis Joplin. Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash was really good, says Angie. I agree. That was an interesting casting. I did not expect that, but he did all his own singing in that as well. Not American is structured very differently, and the people coming out of those places are very talented individuals. Yes. Yeah, I think that it's very funny that we get all these little secret people coming in. Marvin Gaye. Did anybody play Marvin Gaye recently? I feel like there was a biopic on that. Tom Petty has got to have to be played by somebody, right? Secret Foreigners, yeah. Who would play Tom Petty? Charlie Hunnam play Tom Petty? Who knows if he could sing, right? Oh, I typed this in to just kind of like look for actors based on their hair color. And I wrote blonde actors. And Chad Michael Murray popped up, Veronica. I'm going to call my sister out in the car. She had a sister. She had a brother. She had a crush on Chad Michael Murray when she was a kid. And I would have to see this guy on my TV in the house. And that guy, I've never seen a guy who was dumber. Let's see. Ben Foster, maybe. Josh Holloway, he's a lot older. Who would play Tom Petty? Jared Leto could probably play Tom Petty. He's a legend. Out of Florida. He's like probably the only good thing to ever come out of Florida. Let's see. Why don't we just get Chris Hemsworth could play Tom Petty, right? Like a jacked Tom Petty. You'd be like, this doesn't seem... It's always the actor that makes the real person... The actor always looks better than the real person because the actor is generally, I guess, better looking because that's why they're an actor and not a musician. And a lot of times the musicians can get away with not being the greatest looking because they're talented. And talent, what Angelo mentioned earlier, was that goes a long way. Tim Petty. Yeah, Tom Petty looks like... He's an interesting-looking fellow. I was talking to someone recently, and they were like, I bet there's some people out there that even think Tom Petty is good-looking. I thought that was an underhanded compliment. I thought that was a backhand. Oh, Kelsey came out of Florida. That's right. Tom Petty is the second good thing to ever come out of Florida. Let's see. Good point, Kelsey. You know, Dana York should play Tom Petty. You know who should play Tom Petty? Stevie Nicks. And she could sing that duet herself. She could sing Stop Dragging My Heart Around to herself, playing both roles. What do you say about that? I think that's the most genius idea. Listen, guys, I'm like America. I'm the idea machine, but I won't execute the idea. Just like America has the greatest idea for freedom and an amazing constitution, a great idea, but poorly executed. What do you say? Dana York. Who is Dana York? I think she might be his daughter. Why not just do that? I know that Cate Blanchett played Bob Dylan, so anything's possible. Don't make those noob mistakes and call him Tim Petty. Tim Petty was someone else. It's his doppelganger. You guys know that there was a movie that was slated to be made for years and years and years. It was called Chad Schmidt, and it was going to star Brad Pitt. And it was called Chad Schmidt. I'm not joking. This is a true thing. I'm just going to take this down. It's like it obfuscates. It's too obfuscative. There might be some pops, but that's fine. This is much more intimate. Now we can nuzzle You can nuzzle against my beard, everyone.
These look like big, strong curls.
There was a movie called Chad Schmidt that was supposed to be made. It was like Brad Pitt was attached, and it was supposed to be about Brad Pitt having a doppelganger named Chad Schmidt, and then he was going to play both roles. But I think Bowfinger really kind of nailed that already. You guys ever see Bowfinger? I always like when someone plays themselves in their own biopic. I find that fascinating. Like Howard Stern. Howard Stern played himself in his own biopic, and it's actually a pretty good movie. Hey, Mom. My mom, speaking of Howard Stern, my mom used to teach at the high school that Howard Stern always complains about having gone to. Roosevelt, Long Island. Roosevelt High School. My mom taught at that school for years and years and years, recently retired. Congratulations, Mom. My mom also bought me my first official instrument, the electric bass guitar. I talked about this yesterday, but I'll mention it again. I bought this and I do not want to have people misconstrue my feelings toward the Danos. I love the Danos. I grew up in Islip, where the Danos also grew up. I knew Santina Donato. Her full name's Santina Donato. She's probably over the fact that she's called Santina. She wanted to be called Tina. Anyway, the point is, I would go there. I would go there for musical instruments, but I would stay for the experience at Donato's. So my mom, once I had a horrible breakup when I was 16 years old, and I was very sad and depressed, and my mom said, let's go get your birthday present. And then she took me to the Donato store in, I think it's in East Islip. And she bought me a bass guitar, an electric bass guitar, my very first instrument. I was very happy and excited to have this instrument, and I took it very far. I took it all the way to Nassau Coliseum. Well, not that bass. The skills I developed while playing that bass. But Mr. Donato, what a freaking funny character. You got your first violin there, Veronica. My sister we used to go there. That was the music store, local music store. Support your local music stores, everybody. Don't go to Sam Ash. Don't go to Guitar Center. Go to Donato's in East Islip. I think it's still there. It might have moved. But the guy, he's a character. He like literally, and I don't mean this pejoratively. He's got like, I'm not gonna say stereotypes. But I'll describe what he looks like exactly. He's got glasses like this. He's got curly hair like a man, and he's got an accent because he's from Italy. He is from Italy. He is actually from there, and he's always got he's always immaculately, he's got like a lab coat on because he's a luthier, and he works in the back, and he's always making instruments. He's always working hard at making an instrument, this guy. The mystique is real. It's real. This guy is real. And he's always hard. I don't know if he's still around, actually, quite frankly. I hope he is. But when I was a kid, you'd go into that little tiny shop, and he'd be like, hey, he'd be very happy to meet you, and he'd be very happy to work with you, and he'd also be very happy to haggle with you over the price of anything. I mean, like, anything. I would like 6 strings for my guitar. What kind of strings you want? You want this kind of string? You want that kind of string? I just like have an acoustic guitar. What kind of acoustic guitar? You have an Alvarez? You have a Martin? You have a Washburn? What kind of guitar you have? I have this card. This is a perfect set. This is a silk wound string. This is a nickel wound string. What kind of you want? Do you want bronze wound? Okay, I'll have the bronze wound. Now, how much you want for that? I say what? $8? And I'm like, I don't know. Aren't they like $6? I'll give it to you for $7. Anything. This guy was amazing. Yes, Eva, he is a lovable character, and I hope that he is portrayed in a film someday. And I will play him. I will play Mr. Donato with hopefully the blessing of their family, since I knew them growing up. What a character. His wife worked. Now, you folks from Islip, some people, Islip, New York, I mentioned this. I mentioned this in my TikTok, which is now approaching 200,000 views, and thank you for that. It's kind of but this is the town I was referring to, that the one I grew up in, and it was Islip, New York. And the way the system would work, and I hope people are getting a kick out of this, because I say this with the deepest appreciation and love. There are friends and family who know who I'm talking about and who commented on some of these videos. The way the system would work is if I went to buy like an audio cassette or something like that, just a blank audio cassette, his wife would work in the front and she'd be like, she'd take the cassette, and he'd be in the back working on a guitar, polishing a guitar, making it sound perfect. Guy does amazing work. He restored a Stradivarius violin. If you know what that means, you know what kind of guy we're dealing with here. A legend. And she would take the tape and be like, I'll be right back. Because they're both from Italy. And she'd like leave. And then she'd come back and she's like, and she'd go talk to him in the back, and you could hear them talking. And he'd be like, what am I? Like, I'm doing the voices because this is what I heard as a kid. I'm not making fun of Italian accents. I am imitating two specific people that I experienced. And she'd be like, and you just hear the voices in the back. It was like a discussion they had in the back about how much this cassette should cost me. And then she'd come back and she's like, it's going to be $6.50. Oh man, it was so much fun. Donato music. My father has chimed in. Donato's family music temporarily closed due to the virus. So this is support your local musicians. Support your local music shop. I was going to say Stradivarius earlier. I wanted to. The Red Violin movie. Oh yeah. Samuel L. Jackson should play Mr. Donato. He'll be like, give me that MF violin and I'll fix it for you. Yes, that tape costs $5. He just starts screaming at you. Now, what do you want for this? How much do you want for this bass guitar? Imagine Samuel L. Jackson and Gary Busey playing Mr. and Mrs. Donato. I think that would be phenomenal. Oh man, memories. So much fun. So much fun growing up, isn't it? It's good that it's only temporary. Yeah, we should all pay them a visit. Tell them I said hello. Let them know I got my first bass guitar from there. And bass amplifier. A Park bass amplifier. Thank you for the research on that. Richard Brake looks like Tom Petty, says Angelo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Dano is an amazing actor. He could play a good Tom Petty. Good point, Shai Tang. I like Paul Dano. Paul Dano is pretty neat. I knew him as a kid. He's a good guy. Interesting fellow. It's funny to me when I see Paul Dano in roles, because I worked with him on his first movie, LIE. That was my first movie that I ever worked on as a PA. And I'm a couple years old. I'm a few years older than him, so I was like the older brother camp counselor that summer when we were working on that movie. And Paul and I would actually jam on guitars. He was learning how to play guitar. I was showing him a couple of things on the guitar. And he was an interesting dude. So when I see him in movies, I just see Paul, like the Paul that I know. I know him personally. So when I see him do roles, I can see him coming through in the roles, and that I'm like, it's hard for me to watch him objectively. And then there's a scene, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, I didn't even tell you which movie. Spoiler alert for There Will Be Blood. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I drink your milkshake. That scene where, if you don't want to hear what happens to Paul Dano's brother's character, played by Paul Dano gets beaten to death with a bowling pin. That was hard for me to watch. It was hard for me to watch him screaming and fear for his life and then subsequently being beaten to death by Daniel Day-Lewis with a bowling pin. One of the most famous scenes in film history. I drink your milkshake. If you have a straw, if you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and my straw goes all the way to drink your milkshake, I drink your milkshake. I love that scene. You guys know what I'm talking about. Getting carried away because I love it. But that scene is phenomenal, and Paul is whimpering and crying and then beaten to death. Just a few years after I'd worked with him when he was a little boy. It was sad to watch him go. And then he was in Looper, and also similarly his character got mutilated. Still in Islip on Yale Street. Interesting. That Mr. Donato is a lifelong luthier. He will fix your guitar for you. Shy is on both platforms. This is crazy. I feel similarly. Actors, people who I know or who have been people on TV. Yeah, isn't that funny? Because you see people on TV and then that you know personally, and you're just like, oh, that's just them being them. If they're good, if they're any good. A lot of times actors try to not be themselves, and they try really hard to not be themselves, which is part of it too. If you can actually convincingly become a different human being, that's important. But there's always got to be this core of who you are or how you're feeling actually coming through. That's why I think the movie Dick, which is a biopic, it's not a musician biopic, but played by Christian Bale. Christian Bale. What's with him? He plays Dick Cheney, and it's just so, the performance is so affected. We're going to have to be Dick Cheney, launch missiles into Iraq. I mean, it is very much the way Dick Cheney talks, but I felt like it was a little bit affected. Still waiting on Andre 3000 to play Jimi Hendrix. He did, didn't he? He's already played Angie. I'm pretty sure that movie's out and done and finished. The problem with that movie, the reason why we didn't hear about that movie, is because they couldn't use the actual music of Jimi Hendrix. And they could only use the music that Jimi Hendrix covered, but they had to do like a different version of the cover of like All Along the Watchtower or Hey Joe. These are covers that Jimi Hendrix performed. And Andre 3000 plays him in it, and I'm not sure if it came out yet, though. Let me know. That is like perfect casting, though. Yeah, that's it. It just kind of came and went, and Andre 3000, it's like almost a missed opportunity to make an excellent movie because the family did not allow for them to use the music of Jimi Hendrix because the family has still got a tight lid on the royalties and all of that stuff. So, it's not like Prince. Who's going to play Prince? That's the true question. Who will play Prince? I don't know if that's possible. You're going to have to get someone good, someone real good. I got 1 minute left here on Instagram. If you guys want to keep on with the conversation, hop over to AristotleFullThrottle.com and go to the live page. Check out my live videos. This is running live right now. Not sure if it goes on the main page, but check it out. See if it does. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate you. If you want to support your team, if you want to support Aristotle Full Throttle, go to Aristotle Full Throttle on Patreon. So patreon.com/Aristotle Full Throttle. In the link in the description on YouTube, you can go buy my merchandise. You can buy a mug with my mug on it. A mug with a sticker. You can buy stuff, t-shirts, mugs. We got flamethrowers. The kids love it. It's wonderful. Aristotle Full Throttle. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be back here tomorrow at noon on Instagram, and I will continue the broadcast on YouTube. See you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, we're still here on YouTube talking about musicians, music biopics. Who would you like to see whom in a film about whomever?
Who I would like to see the rock biter.
No. But Mike, the Rockbiter could play... I don't even know. Which fictional character would you like to see play a real character? That would be interesting. I don't even know. Gary Busey as Gary Busey in the movie about Gary Busey. Playing Gary Busey as Buddy Holly. You guys are phenomenal. This is so much fun. I'm so happy to see everyone getting along. Gigi Allen played by the Rockbiter. So good. So good, Jafi Mustafa. Thank you for that. But Gigi Allen playing
Anarchy. I would like to punch you in the face. Everyone, punk rock, rock and roll. Everyone. I don't care. I am a nihilist. I would like to hire you to punch me in the face. I am the Rockbiter I am Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen was a depraved individual, and he is dead. If you ever get the chance to watch the Gigi Allen biopic, skip it. It is disturbing. It's gross. It's mostly gross.
I would now like to poop out a bunch of rocks on the stage. I'm Gigi Allen.
Yes. Oh, I have pink socks and leggings. You can buy pink socks and leggings on the online store. Yeah, hopefully you could support the channel. You could go down there. You could throw me $1. I'll appreciate it. Directed by Todd Phillips. Yeah. So it'd be kind of like Joker-ish. He'd be like crying in a mirror somewhere. Hangover, too. You guys remember The Hangover? I wrote this song on my laptop in a van while on tour. And it floods my memory banks with memories of the countryside and stuff like that. It's a part of my life. This song, it's biographical. This song should play me in a movie. Hated, directed by Todd.
Everyone hates me. I'm an anarchist. I would like to eat all of the rocks. Any rock will do.
That should actually, Jaffe, that might be the title.
Any rock will do.
The Gigi Allen story. Guys, don't Google Gigi Allen. Whatever you do, just don't. Like I said, upon any urging of any one of your friends to sit down and watch the Gigi Allen documentary with you, I would advise against it. Oh, he made the Gigi Allen movie when he was at NYU. Oh, I didn't know that. Jaffe, that's hilarious. That makes sense. I guess that was Todd Phillips' claim to fame. Now that's starting to come together. That was a long time ago because that was right after that was right during or before I was in college. So I was in film school, so I paid attention to stuff like that coming out at the time because I was like, ooh, indie film, indie documentary, let me check this out. And I'm like, wow, I'm sorry I did that. I'm really sorry about that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we head out. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. I'm going to get sued by Mickey Mouse. Justice Guarini as Prince, because I enjoy him as Lil Sweet. Ooh, Justice Guarini. Now, I know the name Guarini. Oh, Justin Guarini, I think you mean. Or Justice Guarini. Did he change his name? Justin Guarini was the second place runner-up of, yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah, Justin Guarini. He can kind of sing. I mean, he came in second place after Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson is also a phenomenal talent. She's the only good, like, the only top-level talent to come out of that show. Maybe she came out of there. I really haven't heard much of Ruben Studdard since. But Jennifer Hudson came out of American Idol. We're talking about who else? Where's Clay Aiken these days? Nobody knows. Frat House documentary. Ooh, there from Nolans. You got Justice Guarini from Nolans. Justin Guarini. I think he should change his name to Justice Guarini. In the name of Black Lives Matter, I changed my name to Justice Guarini. I think he should do that. Guys, let's not forget Black Lives Matter, because I feel like people just are in a point of not giving a crap anymore about anything. This song is putting me in a mood right now, so this is gonna be the mood. People need to stop with the apathy. Let's not get apathetic with the apathy. Let's get apathetic with the apathy. Right now, people are forgetting that there are 45,000 cases a day new cases a day being diagnosed of coronavirus, which is crazy. And just yesterday, Dr. Fauci. Hello, I'm Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Baby Yoda Anthony Fauci. I would like to remind you all that it could get up to 100,000 positive cases a day. We're going to have to start combining. Oh, sorry if you guys are hearing like bumping. We're going to have to start combining cases. Tests. We have to test 10 people at once with one test. And if that test turns out positive, then we have to test every single one. It could go up to 100,000 cases tested positive per day. So wear your mask and keep a social distance. And if you don't keep a social distance, and if you don't wear a mask, I can only assume that you're not washing your hands either. Wash your hands, you dirty, filthy animal. I think it's important that we all wash our hands. I can't believe it's 2020, and I have to say that. It's 2020, and we have to remind each other to wash our hands. Justice Guarini should play Prince. I think that's what we've learned today. All of the biopics have been phenomenal. Not all of them. Some of them suck. Some of them don't do the people justice. See what I did there? Some of these biopics could be better. I think when it comes to iconic people, you got to be very careful with who you choose and how you do it. So the Elvis documentary coming out, I'm wondering how crazy that's going to be. Baz Luhrmann is a good film director, very over-the-top, bizarre, but I think just like you guys were mentioning earlier, sometimes these biopics become a pastiche of the person's career. They become pretty much a montage of their life and other French words. It's a specific niche that they fill to do these movies, and I'd like to see more. I'd like to see Philip Seymour Hoffman. Well, thank you guys. I've run out of steam officially. I'm gonna drink lots of water and call a doctor. Thank you guys for joining me, just like every day. I see that we're building a Jonathan Rhys Meyers as Elvis. That's also a good one. Maybe he could do a side role in a movie about Chuck Berry, and Jonathan Rhys Meyers could play the villain of Elvis, even though Elvis was still likable. He kind of took all the thunder. It's not his fault. It was the machine. It was American society at the time. Elvis was genuinely charismatic and would have been a star anyway. Him and his dead twin brother. Anyway, we're not gonna leave on that note. We're gonna leave on this note. I like to see the community building. I like to see people getting along. I like to see new friendships being formed. This is a safe space to be yourself, to like the things you like, to do the things you do, to share all your innermost, darkest secrets. Except don't tell me about the time you murdered a man in Vietnam. I don't want to hear about that. You can keep that one locked away. Thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow at noon just like we're here every day. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, your bro in the know with the fro, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys.